Hello my fossa paws! Welcome back to another video where today I am going to be updating my opinions that I gave on the 2021 Beanie Boos. I'm only going to be talking about the Beanie Boos that I was somewhat excited for because the ones that I initially already disliked, I still dislike and my opinions haven't changed on them. And that would just be really redundant and pointless to just make a whole video ranting about the Beanie Boos that you already know I dislike. Today's video is supposed to be about the ones that have let me down and crushed my soul. So let's get into it. So the first Beanie Boo that I'm going to be updating my opinion on is the one that I was the most excited for, Opal the Cat. Now, even as excited as I was about it, I also was very skeptical and on the fence at the same time, and I'm still kind of right there. Some days I think it's really cute, and other days I'm like, it's kind of weird. It has a few good qualities, but it also has a few bad qualities. The first quality being obviously the scratchy fabric. It has no reason to be there. Nobody except for like one person that I'm thinking of actually likes it. And in this case, it really has no place in the design. Like, even though I don't like scratchy fabric itself, at least on, for example, someone like Cassidy, at least the color matches and it actually looks pretty good. But in Opal's case, it's a random, like, gold or rose gold, which literally has no other place in the design at all. If they wanted to do scratchy fabric or wanted to incorporate rose gold, I wish they either would have, A, made the scratchy fabric like a mint green or a pink or a blue, that way it would actually match, or B, make some other color on her body rose gold because it has no place. Like, they could have made her nose rose gold, think of how cool that would have been, or they could have made her eyes rose gold, but nope, they just put it in there randomly for seemingly no reason. Another thing is that I knew wasn't going to be the case, but it was wishful thinking, was I wish that, like, on a rare case, I wish that for once this was actually one of the stock photos that was going to be different in person. Like, that's the one time I wish that it was going to be different in person. And sadly, it was not. I mentioned that I wish it would be more of an integrated color or gradient and less of a patchy look, because I can't get the giraffe pattern look out of my head. It's stuck in my head now. I wish they would have made it more like Cassidy, how it's like an integrated, like, gradient or integrated color, rather than being a pattern. Because, I don't know, it just looks weird. She kind of looks like a cotton candy or a fun house. And lastly, even though I said that I liked the ruff and the tail in my opinions video, I still sort of do, but I do have some critiques. I wish they either wouldn't have added any furry accents at all and just left it be, or I wish that, again, they would have matched the color of said furry accents to the rest of her, because the only aspect of white that she has is on the bottom of her paws and that little strip down her face. So making this random white furry ruff and white furry tail when the main part of it is a greenish blue, I just think is very random, and I wish they would have done a more cohesive color palette with this one. And I wish they could have taken this opportunity to introduce a new eye color, since she's sort of a turquoise, right? They could have done a really cool mint or turquoise nose or eyes or ears. I just wish they wouldn't overuse the blue and pink. That's all I have to say about her. Oh, also, the name Opal. I don't know, I've kind of let that one go. Especially because I rename them anyways. It's really not that big of a deal that she shares a name with another Beanie Boo. And to be honest, I think the name Opal suits her better than the original Opal. I still haven't decided what to name her, I just realized. So if you have any name suggestions, let me know. And one last thing that I'd like to point out is something I actually didn't realize until Beanie Boo Wolf pointed this out in her review that she uploaded today. And that is she has a very unique texture on her nose. Because typically the translucent noses with the sparkle in them are very smooth. And this is sort of, not a rough texture, but it kind of reminds me of, like, if you were to paint something, you know how when you paint something it kind of, takes on the texture of the paint that you painted it with? That's kind of what this reminds me of. It makes me feel like there's, a layer of, like, paint on it. And I have to say, it's a unique touch and I like it. I kind of wish they would start doing that more. It's nice. I don't know, just little details like texture I really love. I think it adds a lot to the Beanie Boo and is a nice little touch. Final thoughts on her. Because she's a cat, it's kind of what makes me, let it pass or like let it go. Give her the passing thumbs up, I guess. I don't know what I'm saying. Give her the okay. Like, okay, since she's a cat, even though she's not my favorite and she has aspects that I don't really like, I'll still use her and play with her and like her because she's a cat. But I can guarantee you, if this whole mess of a situation with her design was going on any other Beanie Boo, I'd hate it. Like, if this color palette and random furriness was going on a dog, I wouldn't get it. But because it's a cat, I let it slide. That's the word I was looking for, slide. Wow, I'm dumb. Sorry that I talked so long about Opal. I just have the most opinions about her. So, that's why she took up the majority of this video. The next Beanie Boo is Noodles the Dog. Now, I've kind of remained the same with my same opinion on Noodles that I had in my other video. Like, I still feel the same way. And that is, I feel like Noodle would be an amazing, adorable, perfect Beanie Boo, and I would love it if it weren't for, you know what I'm going to say. I've mentioned it on multiple occasions before and will continue to until I die, I think. Those horrendous, stupid face, eyebrows, they look like two furry worms on her head. Now, a lot of people have said, wow, I'm so glad that they found a way to add eyebrows to the Beanie Boo without affecting the way its motion looks. To me, and that's their opinion, and I'm not bashing it, but for me, I feel like it hasn't like helped anything. By putting them more up on her face, even though it makes her look less sad, I don't know, they just get in the way. And it makes less sense to have them all the way up on her head when they would realistically be, more on her eyes. At least consistently to what they've done in the past. So if it weren't for those stupid, horrendous eyebrows, I think she would be absolutely adorable, and I feel like they just ruin her face, and she'd just look much happier, and it just wouldn't get in the way. Also, I feel like I don't know why, but I feel like it's more difficult to see Beanie Boos as girls when they have eyebrows. I don't know. Maybe it makes them look more masculine. I don't know. And the last thing that I have to critique about Noodles is the length of the ears. She sort of reminds me of a furry cookie, and I don't know, I'm just not a fan of the longer ears. Not saying that's a bad thing about her, just saying it's something that I personally don't like as much. And I wish they would have done a brown nose, I think, or like a gold nose. I think that'd be really cute, and I think it would have fit in with the color palette much better. Or, brown eyes, just overused eye colors, the drill. I really do like the fur texture, though. I think it's really good. As for Oki, I really don't have much to say about him. In my opinions video, I mentioned that he was one of the ones that I wasn't excited for. Like, I thought it was a good Beanie Boo, but for me personally, I just wasn't as excited because of the species. And that's definitely still the way that I feel. I think the design itself is perfect, almost. Like, he's definitely my favorite raccoon. I think he's the best raccoon out of all the other designs that they've done. He's a good addition to the world of Beanie Boos in general. I really like his color palette. I really like his fur texture. I only have a few minor critiques. That is the eye color. I wish they would have used a more unique eye color like brown or rose gold. I think that would have fit really nicely. I wish they would have made the nose a light brown to match better because the darker is a little out of place. And this one isn't necessarily a critique or a letdown. It's just a little bit of a surprise. I was expecting it to be like Rocky or Rocco or Roxy's shape of the head and the body, but it turned out to be more like Rusty, which I can't say I'm mad at. I think it's a good surprise that he ended up looking more like Rusty, because I don't know, that's a preferable shape for the raccoons, and it evens it out. You got two Rusty-looking raccoons and two of the more square-headed ones, and I really love that he's natural, of course. I will compliment Ty on that. They know how to appeal when it comes to realism. I think a lot of people, are pleased with him, love him. He's great for photo shoots. He's adorable. It's simply, I don't find myself playing with the raccoons much, but the design itself I don't have a problem with. It's simply his species I never really use. So that being said, I'm trying to find a way that I could incorporate him, and get good use out of him because I feel like he is a good Beanie Boo that I don't want to let go unused. And I'm thinking that he'll be related to Peg and August's group in some way, because I think him and August would be like great friends or relatives. And I did rename him, and I think me renaming him definitely makes me have a special attachment to him more, and if I didn't, I probably wouldn't be as nice to him. And that is, I named him Bagel, because we have a real raccoon who shows up at our house every now and then, and we named her Bagel because one night I looked out and she stole our bagels and stood up at me. And she's got 3 little babies, so I don't know, I just have a really special connection to this Beanie Boo because it looks exactly like Bagel. And Bagel's a cute name anyway. And I think it's unique how he kind of has an inquisitive look about him. Like, one eyebrow that I've noticed seems to be up and one seems to be down, so he looks like he's giving you a smirk or, like, curious about what you're thinking. Which I think is cute, not what I was expecting. And it doesn't work in all circumstances. Like, he kind of just has a permanent look on his face, like he always looks, like, inquisitive, which is fine. It's just a little more difficult to get emotions across when playing with him. But I think that's more so just I'm insane and less about the actual Beanie Boo, because I go into really, really nitty-gritty details with them, and I'm absolutely, like, deep in the obsession, so I critique things that other people wouldn't even notice, or, like, doesn't even actually matter. Like, all Beanie Boos have a permanent look about them, but I don't even know how to explain it. I'm just crazy. That's your explanation. And lastly, I saved the worst for last, Carly. I can't even begin to explain how disappointed I am with Carly. So I'm just going to reference a meme that sums it up perfectly. My disappointment is immeasurable and my life is ruined. Okay? Yeah, he ruined my life. Obviously, I'm just being dramatic. But I was, like, if not the most with Opal, the most excited with Carly, because I'm naive and let myself actually get excited about a new design from Ty. I had way too high of hopes for Ty and should have known better than to get excited. I should have had low expectations, because at this point I should learn not to get excited about new Beanie Boos, because that's just going to be a huge disappointment. This emotionally wrecked me. I was waiting and anticipating for months for Carly, and then this big letdown happened. I was expecting it to be a really natural, unique design, like a nice brownish gray, sort of like August, only though in koala form, only though with specks. And I thought the fur, like the ear fur, was going to be a nice gradient, natural, like fluff around the ears, and the shape of the stock photo looked much thinner, sort of more like Kooky and less like Katie. And then it ended up being a Katie with specs. The color was way different than the stock photo. I don't care what you say. It was. And I feel like something's up. Not only is the just design quality horrible, Ty doesn't care anymore, I feel like they're purposefully making, either their machines are malfunctioning to make wonky-faced Beanie Boos, or I feel like they're purposefully making them so ugly. Like, it's not just the designs, it's their actual face shapes, too. I have yet to see an actual good-faced Carly. Like, when that day comes, I'll eat my own sock, okay? Because it's not gonna come. Every single one of them has a horrendously ugly face. They're all so ugly. Mine is no longer in one piece. That's how disappointed I am. Like, look at all of their faces are just so ugly. Like, all of the really horrible designed Beanie Boos and awful recolors also have ugly faces. Like Tiggy, every Tiggy I've seen has an ugly face. Every Eva I've seen has a not conventionally attractive face. It's just the recolors that have horrible faces, and I don't know why. So, this whole video was just an excuse to bash Carly. Not even gonna lie about that. I am just so immeasurably disappointed. Peg and Kimbara, aka Katie, were going to have a father. This was going to be their father, and now thanks to Ty and their incompetence, they're orphans. Yeah, you can thank Ty for them being orphans, alright? Thanks to them, they don't have a dad. So, that was the video. expressing my updated opinions on the Beanie Boos. I am still very mad at Carly, and he's honestly on hunk level of disappointment, if that tells you anything. Cora's looking better day by day, thanks to Carly. And I think it depends on the face shape of Cora. Like, if I got a Cora that has a good face shape, I'd probably actually get it, just to have a little redemption about Carly. Like, next to Carly, Cora looks like a masterpiece, okay? So Cora might be their mom. Maybe. And they'll just have a mom. I don't know. There's this one specific Cora that I'm eyeing that has a really cute face shape, but it's kind of expensive, so we'll see. That was the video. I know it was incredibly long. I don't care. I needed to get this out. So I'm going to go get some sunlight rather than sitting in my room ranting to myself about a Beanie Boo, and I will see you in another video. Hey. Carly mentally broke me, alright? Something's changed about me. You know what it is? It's Carly. If I seem more bitter lately, just blame Carly. That's the way to go. Just blame all your anger issues on random inanimate objects. Woot woot. Okay.